What's cracking, everyone? We're back with TWIF Week 2 preview. We've done Week 1. The winners and losers have been established. As far as I'm concerned, absolute and complete statements can be made about every single team and every single guest I have this week, including this statement: turn your fucking phone on silent. Here we go. TWIF Week 2. Let's do it. In this bottom left corner of my guest base, the one and only Elusive Smoke, the man known for taking it from behind and winning regular season games. It is Spencer.
Howdy.
And in the bottom right-hand corner of my proverbial guest spots, we have the man known for drafting well and pissing it all away in the middle of the season, the recently discovered, unironically named, waiver wire wonder, Rampy.
What's up, guys?
So we're going to jump right in with Weston's matchups of the week and his power rankings. So I'm just going to read through his power rankings and then pause briefly to let my guests here throw in their thoughts. So the week one power rankings. Starting out number 1, me, after putting up the most points in the league. Number 2, Gruden's Grinders. Number 3, Bing Bong. Spencer, what do you think about top 3?
I think you definitely have the best team, like, based on the information we have now. Agree with that. I think Jackson is high because I think he's going to lose that Connor guy down the stretch. So he's kind of artificially inflated at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cameron probably should never be in the top half.
Okay.
Ever.
See, Spencer has this sort of streak in him that, I can't really blame. Anytime he analyzes teams, he always has a huge part of his analyzation is always salted with a lot of what he thinks about the individual owner, when it comes to rankings at least. So for Spencer, if Cameron's in the top 6, even if he's starting off 5-0, it's heresy, because he knows he's going to piss it away and somehow figure out a way to go 500. Is that true, Spencer, to some degree?
I just remember Andrew Luck starting for 3 weeks, and it cost me like $20 last year. That's all I remember.
Y'all hear this headline that he felt like he got hit by a Mack truck on Monday?
Oh boy. That's all it takes for Andrew Luck. One game and he feels like he's 40 years old. Or are you talking about Cameron, the fact that he actually won? He's that shocked.
It might be both of them. Who knows?
So then we have Weston, who I think always does a pretty good job at ranking himself modestly. And then No Fried, as well as Spencer, El Latino. And then Aaron here at 7. So both my guests here in the middle of the pack. Do you think that's a fair place to be put, guys?
For me, I think I'm in the right spot.
I'm the worst of the best.
He is the
Says
worst.
you're trash.
And then to round out this little ranking system we have here, we have the Fantasy Genius and Anomaly, the new guys, Clap For, and then old C. Goucher.
I do think that Ben's pretty low. I know he didn't his team didn't really step up to the plate last week, but I think he's actually should be higher than me.
Aaron, I'm pretty sure he lost Greg Olson, and he has Bell out for potentially another 10 weeks. I think he's ranked adequately.
Okay, I like that counterpoint. And I think it's nice to point out that Jackson muses. No surprise who's in last. You gotta love. With Jackson in the league, it's always guaranteed that the trash talk is going to be amped up a little bit. So, and I like how Spencer throws in here, after I say, well, when I look at the mobile app, none of the pictures show up. Cameron's like, works for me, man. Which I like to see Cameron actually active here on the message boards, even if it's something as trivial as almost like troubleshooting. Spencer says, at least for the next couple weeks you can. And if you're really dim out there, see couch. That means that Cameron's going to be inactive real soon. And Spencer's musing that Cameron's not going to be seeing shit.
Oh, should we just start off with Cameron's games?
Well, potentially. And then we see Weston here. Let's just touch on what he thinks about the matchups. the matchups of the week, I mean. Lemon Dogs, that's of course my old team name. Now I'm Oy Vey, reppin' Ari Gold, Jeremy Piven, against One Johnny Football Please, who's Weston. And historically, Weston has dominated this matchup. That's something we'll get into more when we break it down. But both of these teams came away with a Week 1 victory and in general are favored to win the Cursed Lands division. And then interestingly enough, we have Jackson and Spencer here as the number 2 featured matchup.
I'm going to win. Jackson doesn't have a chance.
And it's interesting, of course, they're in the same division. We had that division reshuffling back to what it was. And here, let's see, Spencer has the Riley Cooper picture nicely enough, but he somehow failed to change his name. It's in some sort of foreign language. Mi Grande El Mexico de Tejas. That's what I see.
The owner of the dead, huh?
No.
It's the owner of death.
No.
Because I'm in the division of death.
It's actually not. It's the owner of the dead.
Ocho Cinco. That's what I think. That you should just change it to Ocho Cinco and put a picture of Chad on there and be done with it. He's sort of like the anti-Cooper. Is there anything less Kenny Chesney than Chad Johnson? So let's jump right into the game center. We're going to
let's go 1.25.
We're going to start off with my game, Oy Vey versus One Johnny Football Please. And the reason we're starting off with this game is because it has had the most significant impact to itself so far.
Did you want to do a recap of last week?
That's a good idea, Aaron. We should do a recap of last week. Thank you for speaking up. Because, my goodness, I did well last week. Let's start with Aaron, though, the waiver wire wonder. See, this is why I have 2 guests on. When I win really big, I'll have 2 guests on. If I get my shit pushed in, it'll be one of those episodes where it's only me and it's 20 minutes long. A solo cast.
We're going to blow through the last week. We're going to talk about next week.
Imagine if I had somehow lost to Lily with the 4-point advantage, Cooks and the Rams defense left versus just Amari Cooper. That might have been TWIF 2018, the one and only episode.
The one and done.
Yeah, it might have lasted as long as that HBO show with Jack Black, The Brink, if you're familiar with that. So to me, what's interesting about this game is, well, the defense. Ben narrowly loses. I mean, very narrowly loses. And you know what? The guy got -3 from his defense. So, Aaron, tell me about this game since it was yours, and then we'll throw it to Spence.
Well, no surprise, Alvin Kamara went off. He's the best running back in the entire league.
Until week 6 when Ingram comes back and it turns into a timeshare.
Well, that's 5 good weeks I'll get out of him then. Honestly though, Ben Roethlisberger played like absolute dog shit, and I probably should have lost because of that. Thank God for Ben's Chargers team and Greg Olsen getting hurt. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Spencer, your thoughts? I know that you were predicting Olsen to get hurt again.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just thought he looked like he was kind of in the stage of his career where he just has a kind of a reoccurring injury every year. Honestly, I wasn't expecting it to happen this fast, but that's kind of why I was low on him before the season started. You can confirm I said I thought he would get hurt and wouldn't be a good pick. But yeah, I think this is like the best case scenario for like Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. If you really look on it, like the numbers below its surface, yeah, Patrick Mahomes had a good game from a touchdown perspective, but he only threw for 250 yards and he had no turnovers. And I kind of feel like that's unlikely for like a rookie quarterback type. So I think that people who are high on Mahomes are like through the roof right now, but I think he's going to come back down to earth in the next couple weeks because he's going to have turnovers. He's a quarterback. I know he's not, but for purposes of experience, he basically is.
Yeah, I was going to get into that with the matchup for the next week because I have the Steelers defense and they're playing KC. Yeah,
and Tyreek Hill's going to get hawked by Kelsey or Kels. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but basically Kels had I think 8 yards that's not going to happen going forward. So like that production, like this was like the best case scenario I think for that combo. Like we might see it one more time where they get close to 60 out of them, but I mean, realistically, like Mahomes is going to throw some give some turnovers, and Tyreek Hill is not going to go for whatever 3 touchdowns or whatever he went for.
Yeah, I agree.
In my opinion. So
I don't think the discount double points are going to be nearly as high as they have been.
Oh, and I guess other noteworthy thing is I actually believe in the Chargers. I think it was a fluke, and I think that they're going to recover well this week and at Buffalo and score double digits plus.
I do too.
Because Buffalo is the worst team in the league. They're the new Browns. You heard it here first.
I agree.
The new Browns. Those are low standards to live up to, if you get what I'm saying. For Ben, really sucks that his boy, he's a tech guy, Patrick Mahomes, popped off completely and hooked up with Hill like he wanted him to, and he still lost very narrowly. That's very frustrating for him. And very nice for Aaron, who starts off the year 1-0. So let's move on to Bing Bong 3, Ragnarok, and no fried rice for you. And Bing Bong, whenever you think about him, you might think he has the worst record in the league. He's sort of a listless owner. Maybe he even made a lower grade in Coach Kincaid's math class than I did. You might think any one of those things. However, one thing I will say about Cameron, and I can't confirm this, but he's better in the first 4 games of the season than he is in the middle or the end. He's the guy who usually starts decently well and then craters during the bye weeks and then is sort of subpar after. Do you agree with this assessment, guys?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty historically proven.
I don't have the numbers, but it seems about right.
We need Weston to check in on this.
No, Weston. I've got the updated win-losses from Weston, and he definitely has the worst record. But I feel like he starts pretty strong. He's not one of these guys who will start 0-4. So to see him win here isn't totally shocking. Freeman didn't have a good day and got hurt, benefited Coleman. Barkley had a big day. Rodgers did his thing. Landry even managed to break 10. You know, this is a decent team. 112, that's a solid number.
Greg the Leg, 17 points. Unbelievable.
I think Landry might be like a top 6 wide receiver this year. He got 15 targets.
That is pretty substantial.
That's insane. Like everyone thought that like the Cleveland would be Josh Gordon, I think. Yeah. But like Landry is like 15 targets. Like that's crazy. Like that's more than like Antonio Brown, I think, or like the same number.
Well, Antonio Ben Roethlisberger played terribly, but honestly, the Browns have just an unbelievable receiving core. I mean, they have Landry, who is a pretty dang good receiver on his own, and then they have Josh Gordon, who's obviously the best in the entire league, maybe even the universe.
Best at what? Getting suspended?
Yeah.
We're talking about catching balls, right? Catching the football, right? Not getting suspended.
Josh Gordon is more qualified to appear in the sequel of Half Baked than he is being anyone's top 10 receiver list. This is a guy who consistently plays about 4 games a year.
You mean 0 games a year for 3 years.
So No Fried takes a loss. Interestingly, Garcon is terrible. Travis Kelce had a really terrible day. You would think with Cleveland performing as well as they did, he would have at least gotten him 5. Remember, Cameron was way behind this game, and Greg the Leg basically came through for him and clutched it.
Yeah, I thought Greg the Leg was a stretch in the draft, but I guess I was wrong. Yeah.
Moving on, Jackson versus the new guys. Here for Sam, I think Kareem Hunt and Christian McCaffrey came up flaccid, and despite the fact that Dion Lewis really took over that backfield, contrary to what the good old Sea Gouch believes, I think that Sam suffers a pretty devastating loss here. You put up 97. It's a little bit above average, I feel like. Spencer, why did Sam lose?
I mean, it's the top guys, the meat and potatoes of his lineup. Kareem Hunt didn't do much, and McCaffrey didn't do much. McCaffrey man, McCaffrey is just not that good in PPR. Like if it's not PPR based on where he was drafted, I just have a hard time valuing him as high as he is because you're always going to have Cam Newton stealing the goal line touches. It's like the same reason why I was kind of low on Olsen in addition to the injury things. Cam Newton just steals goal line touches. Like they basically the Panthers have realized, I think last year, that he can't pass at all and that they're better off just using him like it's basically a wildcat quarterback, just like about 50% of the time, particularly on the goal line. And all of the offensive weapons there are going to suffer because of it. And McCaffrey is like one of the players who takes the biggest hit from that, I feel like. Deion Lewis looks like a great pick. I thought about grabbing him, but I didn't think he would win the backfield. I thought Henry would. But yeah, I mean, nothing else outside of that. Mike Evans had a great game. Pretty much it.
I think it's interesting to note that McCaffrey had a very easy goal line carry right up the gut, right on the goal line versus the Cowboys, and he coughed up the ball. He very easily could have had a 14-point day. But everything you said was true. He still is a guy that, yeah, they use him in the offense, but when it comes to the red zone, especially the 10-yard line and closer, really they're just looking to have Cam Newton ramrod that thing in.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird for me with McCaffrey because you have guys like throughout the NFL who play like very similar roles and they get about half the touches but have double the production. And it makes no sense, like, to me, but I just think something about him, like, I just don't think he's like a super, like, he looks explosive, but like he gets like 20 touches a game sometimes and he like barely breaks 10 points. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
The Carolina Panthers offensive line is terrible. But
yeah,
I do want to know your opinion on Kareem Hunt, Spence.
Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he'll be okay. I think it was kind of a fluky game. I think that the Chargers defense, even though they got torched, I think that they'll recover and be better than they were that first game. I think they were kind of shaking off the rust.
I mean, Tyreek Hill is hard to guard, to be fair. And I mean, if they can stop the run, they got to be able to stop the pass at least half the time, you know. But they were able to stop the run.
I guess for me, the biggest thing that was scary is scary with Kareem Hunt is you have Tyreek Hill and Kelsey now, who are both going to get touches. And then Mahomes, I guess, is kind of a rushing threat. I haven't watched a ton of Kansas City games.
Definitely a scrambling threat.
So he could hawk some touchdowns too. He didn't get a single target out of the backfield. So that's like kind of because part of what was helping him go off initially last year was he had a lot of receiving yards too.
Yeah.
And then if you actually look at his box scores past week 6 last year, he was pretty terrible. So I think teams have kind of figured him out, or at least they're game planning to stop him and die by the quarterback and by an air attack rather than the run attack. I'm not really sure which it is, but either way, he's just not been effective. And it's one of the reasons I was kind of low on him going into the draft this year.
Fair enough. All right, Wiley, take us over.
Time to move on to the next matchup. Clap for Bacon in a horrific showing against Spencer, in which he lost rather badly, accumulating about 2/3 of the points of Spencer. Pretty ugly game here. Watson only had 11. McCoy was even worse. Isaiah Crowell had a big day, but other than that, the rest of his team was horrific. The Eagles' defense was decent with 10, but other than that, it was a real shooting gallery. And then on Spencer's team, Saxonville and his kicker spot combined for over 20, which was always nice. Thielen did his thing, a solid 10, despite no touchdown. Keenan Allen did the same, except with a touchdown. Antonio Brown had a touchdown despite Rapelessberger's struggles. Goff was solid. Hyde was solid. Duke Johnson was a disappointment, despite the Browns' tie. And Spencer wins pretty easily here. He puts up a solid 98. Aaron, what do you think of Spencer's team?
Well, besides the fact that Spencer has 2 Cleveland running backs, which I think Cleveland's going to be okay. I've predicted they're going to win 7 games. but since he needs an upgrade at running back really bad, and Jared Goff needs to maybe step it up a little bit. 17 points is decent, but it's not going to do it every week.
It's not all I need, Aaron. Get me 17, and I'll win every game this year.
I hate you, Spencer. I do want to talk about Clapfor's team though. His team. This is the bad side of discount double points when you have Deshaun Watson do terrible with DeAndre Hopkins. They're not going to get anything for each other, you know. And you're only combining to get 18 points.
But Aaron, discount double points.
That's what I'm saying. It's the bad side of it though, man.
No, but there is no bad side. It's discount double points.
You're right.
People
You're
say
right.
people like discount double points as though there was like a 2 times multiplier on the points.
What do you guys think about the Jets? Real deal or no?
Jets, Jets.
They'll win 7 games.
I think they'll win 8, but yeah, I think they'll be okay. I think their defense looks really good.
Okay.
And I think Isaiah Crowell will end up losing the backfield job to Powell. He'll either get hurt or he'll just flat out lose the job and lose the majority of the carries.
Over 100 yards every game. I don't know how that's going to happen. But I think Glaffor's team has a lot of a good upside, but I don't
Aaron,
think
it's the Lions. It's the Lions D.
Hey, Lion Ted, shut your mouth. Let's go to the next game.
One last point on Clapfor's team. He did this, Clap4, it's not like he has bad drafts. He has weird drafts almost every year. It was very weird for him to take what was a rookie, now a sophomore player coming off of a significant knee injury and then back him up with the guy who essentially just won some mop-up games consecutively and was really unproven. In Garoppolo, he sort of doubled down on risks. If I was going to take Watson, I don't know why he wouldn't just take a safe quarterback. I think he could really...
he probably should have picked like Big Ben or something like that with that.
He could really get into some trouble here if Watson keeps struggling.
I agree.
So we're going to Weston and the Gouch.
Oh, God.
Weston about doubles him here. Spencer, rapid fire, sort of run through the game, hit the high notes. What'd you see here?
There's zero chance that Seagouch is going to lose. That's all I knew going into it. Yeah, I mean, Goodwin got 0.
Oh.
His meat and potatoes, the top 3 went for less than 10 each.
Crap box.
There's not a lot to say here.
I heard Matt Ryan was underrated.
He's under something. He's under 10.
Oh.
Yeah, and I guess what's significant here is Mixon got hurt, and Fournette left the game with a knee injury. So I don't know. I don't really know what's going on. They're both potentially hurt going into next week.
Hamstring injury. Mixon already played this week.
Yeah, that's right, but he got hurt, I think.
Yeah, but he returned to the game. He's fine.
But
Fournette,
I think
Fournette's probably not going to play this weekend.
But Mixon needs surgery. I saw that headline like 2 hours ago.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
Yep, scheduled for a minor surgical procedure.
Okay.
It says only 2 weeks, though.
So a few takeaways. Michael Thomas and Drew Brees hooked up a crap load. If you were in a PPR especially, this was great because they were absolutely lighting it up. 180 yards. What did he have, like 15 receptions or something ridiculous? He had a lot.
I'm trying to figure out where it is.
16 catch. I was one off.
16 of 17. Jesus.
Yeah, he was crazy. My thing is, like, New Orleans isn't going to play like the Swiss cheese Tampa Bay defense every week.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of unrealistic to like. And then not only that, even if they play a bad defense, like they were going back and forth so much that like Drew Brees got like an unreal number of like opportunities to throw passes.
It was basically just garbage time for like the whole third and fourth quarter.
Yeah,
It's one of those shootout
the entire
games.
game was garbage time.
It was not good.
Here's the thing, though, Ski Up, is the Saints' defense was a flash in the pan last year. I don't actually think they're that good, and
No, they're terrible.
the Saints are going to be getting into a lot more of these shootout type games where Breeze is airing it out or lining up in shotgun sets and throwing screens to Chimera. They're not going to be able to ground and pound it as much because they're always going to be behind.
Well, he still throws it a lot to Chimera, so
It counts as passing yards for me.
I mean, like, I've already told you this, you know, on I guess one-on-one, but I really think that, and obviously I'm somewhat dependent on it because of my team, but the reason why I drafted Ingram is because I think that 1-2 punch is something they're committed to. And I think that it'll be like a 55-45, 60-40 split when Ingram comes back, favoring Kamara, but more to the pat. Like, they're just going to grind it more. Like, I think Kamara had like 24 rushing yards. Like, after the success they had last year, going like 11-5, with that formula of like running the ball a lot, I have a really hard time believing they're all of a sudden going to give that up. As soon as they have the personnel that can execute that, so I think they're gonna be more balanced going forward. Like, or especially once they get Ingram, they might still air it out till Ingram gets back. I literally don't think Kamara is capable of being like a between the tackles, like grind it running back. I think he's always going to be kind of like a Sproles type of player who's like kind of just catching short backfield passes and just like running around the field and that kind of thing.
I don't disagree with you. I think that honestly, though, that Kamara's strengths are in the open field. He's really hard to take down in the open field, so it really works out for him that they just spread him out a lot.
And with that, we move on to my game. What better could there be to talk about?
Oy vey versus one Johnny Football, please.
Oh, we're not there yet, Aaron.
Oh, we're not.
We have to commiserate Lily taking another loss to me.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, I mean, your team performed. Her team didn't. And Walker got hurt. I think that's pretty much the only noteworthy thing.
Severely injured.
Yeah, she's out for the season, so that's going to hurt her. But interestingly enough, like, I mean, that's going to hurt her, but from top to bottom, her team looked pretty good. Other than Cooper, she broke 100.
I mean, John Gruden already threw some shade at Derek Carr for not targeting Amari Cooper, but we'll see what happens with that. I mean, I think Lily's team is pretty good, though. It's a pretty solid team, honestly. Especially with Frank Gore being on the bench, considering he might get him more touches. They've come out with some stories about that, which is worrisome for my team, but she's got a pretty strong team. I don't know what y'all think about it.
To me, this team will be about if she can trade for or pick up another receiver. The way I look at it, this is one of those teams with a lot of consistent players that sort of that sort of has a floor of like 80. Brady, Miller, Elliott, that's like a 45 at least every single week. Gostkowski, Vikings, that's like 20 every single week. That's why the tight end injury is big. Fitz is pretty consistent too. He's like 8+. Of course, with a really crappy quarterback, he's probably not going to be getting very many touchdowns. And then again, he's going to be hit or miss with the Saints. So to me, Lily just needs a big receiver. Maybe it would even be worth trading for one.
For who?
I disagree. He said it might be worth her trading for one. I disagree with that. I honestly think she can kind of stay pat with who she has. Like, I think she has enough to get her through bye weeks, and I think she picked up Evan Ingram, who I don't understand. Kevin dropped, which was it was kind of odd to me. I was in the waiver wire queue for it, but Lily beat me to it because like I think he's like a top 10 tight end. I just think he had a bad week.
He's good.
Yeah, he's really good.
Really good player, and especially with like Odell Beckham getting double all the time, like it opens him up.
I was maybe this is just a conspiracy theorist in me, but like I was like a Watson to Watson drop. Interesting.
Alrighty, let's move on to the next week of games. Let's go right into me versus Weston.
All right.
Aaron, start with my team. Let's go player by player and toss it around.
All right. So you got Drew Brees going against Cleveland. There's going to be some points. I think they're probably going to score a lot.
27 at least. 27 points for Breeze.
Hey, it's a kind of stupid
I'll
question.
go a low 22. How about that?
How do you see the projections for the players?
You have to go to the game center, I believe.
I'm in that. I see the team projections, but everyone's projected 0.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. I thought I had it earlier.
Oh yeah, I think they did this last year too, where you
It's
just
like,
where after what it's like after a certain week or after a certain day of the week it doesn't show the because the team has
after
already
a certain
played.
Just go to like my team and then find the team we're talking about, and you can see them still.
okay.
So like right now, Drew Brees is projected 19.89. I'm sure he's gonna get over 20. Like I said, probably 22 at least. Tevin Coleman obviously gonna be sharing the big majority of the load.
No, Devote's hurt. He's out. It's only Coleman.
That's what I just said. Thanks, though.
Sharing the load with
Yeah.
who? You, Weston? He ain't
I said
sharing anything.
He's gonna get the full load. Jesus.
Yum.
Anyways, David Johnson, obviously really good, but he is going against the Rams, and he's on a terrible Arizona team. So I predict probably 12 points again this week. AJ Green obviously already went off, so I mean there's not much to say about that. 3 TDs already, Jesus. Smith Schuster gonna have a better game this week. Maybe not like a 30-pointer, but like probably like 15 points, I would say. Gronk called out by Jalen Ramsey, gonna have a good game.
What did Ramsey say?
Hey, he was talking crap about Gronk, saying he was trash, and then said that if he was on the New England Patriots, he'd be an all-pro wide receiver. That's what he said. So take that as you will. I think it's just funny. Brandon Cook's gonna score some points against Arizona, probably 10. Matt Bryant, the Falcons aren't that good. Sorry.
Okay.
I don't give a crap what Skip says.
Ski up.
And the Rams defense is gonna have a lot of points. So your team is gonna score a lot. You're pretty much shooting to win this week.
Spencer, do Weston's team.
Weston's team. Let's see. Alex Smith is projected 19 against Indy. I actually think that's low. I think he's going to beat that. He's going to be more in the 25 range. I think he's going to tear up Indy and make their defense look like a bunch of chumps. Joe Mixon, we talked about him a little bit. Knee surgery, out for 2 weeks apparently. Royce Freeman, pure timeshare back, pretty bad. I think he looked like the worst of the 2 backs in Denver from what I've seen. From what I've read and when I watched parts from the game. Emmanuel Sanders looks like he could be the best receiver in Denver somehow. I don't know how that's possible. Denarius Thomas. He got 11 targets last week, which is pretty solid. Means he's going to translate to pretty good production. Michael Thomas, obviously he was amazing. I think he's going to come down. I think he's going to get around like 10 to 15 from both of those guys, and then 25 from Alex Smith. And then Freeman, I think, will get 5. And then Doyle, I think he's pretty bad. I just think it's like, who else is he going to play?
Yeah.
Well, apparently he got 10 targets last week. I don't think Doyle's good.
10 targets, only scored 4 points. So
yeah. And Funches is the number 1 option for the Panthers, but again, the Cam Newton effect.
Cam can't even fucking throw the ball.
So yeah, I think he's gonna score around 80. I think Wiley's team will probably score like around 120.
Yeah,
and should win pretty handily if I had to guess. So
with AJ Green already locked in at about 25. Breeze playing Cleveland. Coleman's a presser, out of the way. Gronk's still healthy. I just don't see how I can lose. The Rams playing Arizona. I've got too much going for me. I think I have to give myself the edge,
I
despite
think you should.
the career record versus Weston. So hopefully we can see the new name Oy Vey, which looks very good with the two Y's sort of swooping down in Ari Gold. Hopefully
It's just
that'll
it's
start
it's
out
just
good.
a question of, is this the week that Gronk gets hurt and Juju has an off game? There's the script of you losing.
Potentially, yes.
The script is Wiley says the same statement that Seagouch says every year.
Will Gronk get hurt? No, see, I know he's going to get hurt. That's the difference between Seagouch and I. So Lily and the Victorious Secret.
Lily's gonna win.
And
You
Yeah.
heard it here first.
presumably Lily's going to start Ingram because she's tight end empty at the moment.
Yeah. I think she's got one of the better teams in the league, definitely in the top half.
I mean, just looking throughout her team, the only the thing I don't know is Mike Wallace. I don't think he really did anything though. He only got 3 targets last week. I don't think he's really good to start this week. She should be starting Amari Cooper.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that she's doing that. I think maybe the other she felt like Cooper shot her in the foot, so it's like a rage thing or something.
Yeah, she's probably mad at
not sure.
Cooper for underperforming.
I mean, she could probably start Des Bryant over Mike Wallace and it'd do better.
What she should do is she should put Gannon in wide receiver, Elvin Ingram, who she just picked up at tight end, and then maybe flex like James White or Ty Montgomery or Frank Gore.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
probably the smarter thing
That's
to
a
do.
better move actually.
Because it is against Denver for Cooper, so I don't know if Denver's secondary is still good, but maybe that's what she's thinking. I don't know.
Denver's front 7 are really good. I'm not sure about their secondary though.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, they have the other Chug. Not sure if it's Nick or the other dude.
Bradley.
Bradley Chug, yeah, that one. Wiley's favorite guy.
Nick Chubb.
I mean, I guess we could talk about Seagouch's team, but there's not really much to talk about. Matt Ryan's over the hill. Alfred Morris is on San Francisco, but they are playing Detroit, so they'll probably get like 12. Dalvin Cook, not as good as last year. T.Y. Hilton may have a good day against Washington. Odell Beckham gonna have a good day against Dallas. But I mean, I just don't think that Seagouch's team will put up enough points to beat Lily. Lily's top 4 are too strong. What do y'all think?
I think he's capable of beating her. I don't think he will. Typically, Odell Beckham has really big games against Dallas. I feel like he always goes for like 20 plus against Dallas. T.Y. Hilton has some upside potential. I honestly think Cook will break double digits this week, so he could have a good game. I don't know what his second running back position's horrible. Like, he literally has both halves of a perfect timeshare in San Fran, and I don't think either one's going to win. I think it's going to be a perfect timeshare all year. Crowder's pretty bad. Like, he's not really deep as a team. He has like a bunch of like bad players who like I don't think have a ton of upside outside of his like kind of core picks. I'm not super high on Ryan either. I think he'll be better than he was last week, but like maybe 15 points, 16.
I do think that he might want to start that Westbrook guy for Jacksonville.
Who?
The Jacksonville receiver on his bench. Playing
Yeah. I just don't think they're going to have a clear-cut wide receiver in Jacksonville this year. I literally think they're all going to cannibalize each other's value, and no one's going to be worth playing.
Yeah,
they're just not a good enough offense.
So I think Lily's going to beat Seagouch.
Yep, she's definitely the favorite.
It does appear that way. Zeke will probably punch in at least once. Miller will probably punch in at least once. Brady will be solid. The thing about Lily is she just has so much solid, and the thing about Seagouch is he just has a lot of holes in his lineup with the running backs, and Hilton was awful, and not even Cook I think is one of the guys on his team with the most potential, but he didn't really look good last week.
Yep.
So
I agree.
it's tough for Seagouch. I give Lily the edge. Now we got the new guys versus Clap 4. Andrew Luck versus Deshaun Watson. Let's see here. Andrew Luck versus Washington. Deshaun versus Tennessee. I actually favor Luck here because Deshaun looked so off last week. I don't know if you guys watched the game, but he looked pretty clueless out there.
I think he's gonna bounce back with 20 plus.
I agree. I think so too.
Tennessee's defense is like bottom 10 in the league. Pretty
Yeah.
terrible.
Not only that, but they're like the Houston offense is going to be on the field like the entire time because Tennessee's offense is terrible and Houston's defense is really good.
Okay.
So I think Watson's going to have a good game, which in turn makes Hopkins have a good game.
Yeah, I agree.
Shady McCoy is going to be terrible this year with the potential domestic violence suspension looming over his head and the Bills not really having a quarterback. God, it's going to be bad for Shady McCoy. He was terrible last week, and I give Kareem Hunt the clear edge.
Yeah, I think he's gonna have below like 120 points this year.
I mean, if Shady was on the Cowboys, he'd already be suspended. So let's just go ahead and put that out there.
McCaffrey is going to outperform the Indianapolis running back, even though he doesn't really score touchdowns.
Yeah, I don't even know who this guy is. So sure.
I think he's the starter.
Who knows? I've never seen him. He did
Yeah.
pretty bad last week. So
He's the starter. I'm not super high on
14
McCaffrey.
rushes for 41 yards. Yeah. I think McCaffrey will do better. Not by much, but just a little bit.
I think they'll both have around 10.
I agree. I think Golden Tate will do worse than Hopkins. Unless Hopkins doesn't play, he does have a questionable next to his name.
He's expected to play though.
I don't think either will do very well.
I
Allen
think
Robinson?
I think both guys will. Tate got 15 targets last week. Like I think they're both going to get a ton of targets and be productive.
Okay. Fair enough.
Allen Robinson and Mike Evans.
I'm going to take the Mike Evans, even against Philly.
Oh, is Fitz going to have another great week?
Not a great week. Definitely not a great week. We'll see if Tampa Bay can run the ball. The Philly defense is going to be much more of a challenge than the Saints defense. I don't even know who Kittle is, but he's the San Francisco.
He did well
Kittle-
last week.
Kittle is a top 5 tight end this year.
Really?
That's what he is. He's really talented.
He did have nine receptions.
Yeah.
Or 9 targets, I mean.
Yeah, he's really talented. He'll easily outperform Benjamin Watson.
Yeah, the thing about the Saints, like anybody on the Saints receiving core, like is just has an off chance of hitting a touchdown.
Yeah, I think Kittle will get like 16. I think he'll get around 100 and a touchdown this week.
Whoa.
I mean, he was playing Detroit, so probably.
I think he's like the number 1 weapon in San Fran. Like I don't even think they're throwing to wide receivers there.
Deion Lewis is not going to be, or he's going to be outshined by Crowell. The Jets are going to have a decent game against Miami. And Houston's defense is too good.
I think Deion Lewis will outperform Crowell.
Both of these Fex players are extremely important for their team's success.
Yeah, I think that the game script goes Houston scores early. Tennessee's playing from behind. When they're playing from behind, they don't play Henry. So Deion Lewis will be the back, which means he'll get more looks. I say he gets around 80%, 75% of the looks, which will translate to around 20 points, I think, 15 to 20. And I think the game script for the Jets is I don't think Crowell is the better back. I think he's going to get less touches, and I think week 1 was a fluke, and he'll come back down to earth. So.
Okay. Do you guys think that so on Sam's team he has Kittle and he also has Zach Ertz? Do you guys think he should probably trade away one of those and get a better running back?
I think there's a ton of teams who he can target with tight end, for sure. I think he should trade one away. The question is Ertz even talented with Foles as the guy?
Well, he certainly has
Yeah.
value, I feel like, to people.
I mean,
still.
he had 10 targets. He just couldn't catch last week. So, I don't know.
But Foles literally had like 100 passing yards, dude.
Well, there was a lot of drops.
No, I mean, I get that, but like, if a quarterback is only throwing for 100 passing yards, there's something wrong with that quarterback. And like, literally, Wentz could come back and immediately get hurt. Like, the kind of injury he suffered from is not something that guys typically, particularly a mobile quarterback like him, come back from.
Fair enough.
Without growing pains. So.
All right, let's go to the next game. The thing is getting long.
So who wins?
Oh, I think the new guys win. Not by a huge margin, probably like 95 to 90.
I give it to the new guys too.
Yeah, I think his team is better top to bottom, and until Luck gets hurt, I think he's one of the better teams. I think Luck will get hurt though. So.
Here we have an exciting matchup between old Spencer and Jackson. Jared Goff gonna pop off. He's playing a crappy team. Rapelessberger, questionable. Ooh, let's see. Full practice. Oh, he's questionable, but he's probably gonna play. He's probably gonna play, or they're gonna have to play that black guy again. Where's the gloves? Whatever the fuck his name is.
I think Jared Goff would be better.
Yeah, like you'd be a fool to trust an injured Roethlisberger over Goff playing a bad team.
I actually think Ben Roethlisberger will be the better start. I think he'll go for more points.
You're insane.
I think
questionable, and he's playing against KC. I don't know, man.
Yeah, he's gonna have 25, and Goff will have around 20.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, how many is old Thompson gonna get you, Spence? He's your guy. You got him. You got him in your lineup over old Duke. Duke.
You have him in his lineup. He's not even he might even be third string on that team. What are you doing?
I don't know, Aaron. I'm just winning, like Charlie Sheen.
He's winning.
Adrian Peterson is starting on that team.
Yes, I know you're high on him, Aaron. But I think he's the less talented of the backs. But he'll get the volume. But it's kind of like the Kamara Ingram situation, where one's a grinder back and the other one's more explosive in space. Before he got hurt, Chris Thompson was like a top 10 back last year for like 6 or 7 weeks. So I'm high on him.
Okay.
Could be wrong, but I think he'll get 10, maybe 15.
15 doing what?
Going for 10 yards a carry like he did last
He only
week.
had 6 carries.
Hey.
No, he only had 5 carries.
Yep, 15 yards a carry, baby. That means that if he gets 5 carries,
whatever.
He's there. That's all he needs.
Whatever.
It's pretty low threshold.
I think Washington had a fluke game last week because they were playing Arizona.
We'll see.
Because both their running backs got 20 points.
We'll see.
But I think he'll be outscored by Todd Gurley. Let's be real. Because Todd Gurley's playing Arizona, he might put up 40. Who knows?
Yeah, I think he'll have around 15 or so, something like that.
What do you think about the James Conner versus Carlos Hyde? Because I think James Conner's going to put up 25.
I actually think that the game script will shift to a passing, as I kind of said earlier. So I think Conner might have an off week. Off week being like 10 points or 15 points instead of 30.
And how many is Hyde gonna get?
I mean, it is New Orleans. I think that it'll be high scoring. So maybe he gets 10. I don't know. I'm honestly with the way my team. the way my team is built, I really just went 10 out of my backs and around 20 for my quarterback. And then I kind of count on like the bottom part of my lineup getting the job done. So
Well, let's talk about the bottom part of your lineup then. Let's see. We got the wide receiver matchup here with Antonio Brown versus Kenny Stills. Antonio Brown obviously gets that nod. Keenan Allen versus questionable Devontae Adams. I would say that Keenan Allen has the massive advantage because he's playing against Buffalo.
But what you don't consider, Aaron, is that it actually might be a bad thing because the Chargers are going to get up by.
Just run it down.
Yeah, they're not even gonna run it with Melvin Gordon. I actually I've been thinking about like starting Eckler because they're gonna get up by like 3 TDs, and then they're just gonna pull Gordon so he doesn't get hurt.
Spencer, as soon as you start Eckler, the Chargers are gonna lose this week.
Probably. So that's why I think that's more of like being too cute with it. So yeah. But I agree. He's a top, but they're both top options, and I give myself the edge at both wide receiver spots.
I think so too. Jimmy Graham versus Disley. I don't really trust Seattle too much, to be honest with you. I mean, this guy did really well last week, but he is a rookie. I don't even know how much did he catch. He only caught 3 passes, so that's not gonna happen again.
Yeah, it was fluky. One of them was like, it was like the dumbest. Yeah. It was just like a broken coverage. Because I looked at picking him up potentially.
Yeah, I did too.
I think he's a fluke, and I think he'll come back down to earth. Like he's not going to be atrocious, but he's probably like in the 30 to 50 yard range, without a touchdown type of player. And I think
Jimmy Graham's getting old though.
Chicago's defense is pretty good. Jimmy Graham on my team is basically like I'm just like flipping a coin essentially.
Yeah,
like
he is playing Minnesota though.
I think that I mean like I don't really have a better option, and there's not a lot of top tight ends, and I think that last week was kind of fluky with Rodgers getting hurt for like a quarter and a half and then coming back and winning it, and I think they never really were able to get in the red zone. If you noticed, because I watched the whole game, it was always like Allison 80-yard touchdown, Cobb 60-yard touchdown, and Jimmy Graham is like you've got guys like Ertz that operate between the 30s, and that's where they get like a lot, and then they get red zone looks. Jimmy Graham is kind of like a red zone guy, like really tall, like big red zone guy. And they gave him 2 looks in the red zone. One was a bad throw, and then the other one, he just barely missed. So I think that in a more realistic game script, he's a better option than his last week's performance. And then Thielen should get me around 10 to 15. I think I have the edge at every position on the bottom part of the lineup. So.
Well, I think you do too. The only thing I'm worried about though is that your top may not perform as well as the other top. Yeah, I think it'll be a close game.
Yeah, I honestly think that a lot of it will be made up like in special teams and defense. Like I think that I'll probably beat him at kicker by a couple points, and I think I prefer Jacksonville to New England's defense.
So what's your prediction, Spencer?
I think I win in a nail biter. And I think
points we're talking here.
Thinking I go for around 110, and he goes for like 105.
Okay, I'll take the opposite on that. I think that Jackson's going to score about 115, and you're going to score about 107.
Okay.
Wiley?
We'll see.
Give me Jackson here. I think Connor and Gurley pop off. Roethlisberger doesn't do great, but he gets the job done. And maybe Jackson wins 100 to 95 or something in that ballpark.
Okay.
Moving on, a classic rivalry for the ages, Bing Bong and Benny. A division rivalry.
Yeah.
Aaron, start us off. What do you think?
Well, we got Patty Mahomes versus Aaron Rodgers with a knee sprain. Well, we'll see how many happy pills Aaron Rodgers gets this week. I don't. The thing about Aaron Rodgers, like, he's probably the best quarterback in the whole league, so it's hard to count him out. But with a knee sprain, he may not make it through the whole game. So I'm gonna go ahead and give the edge to Mahomes, just but not by much. I think they're both gonna score around 20. I don't know how you guys
I
feel about
think I think Aaron Rodgers is better and will do better.
that. I mean, I think he's better, and I think he will do better. But I just think that he's not gonna make it through the whole game.
It's at Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh is one of the better defenses in the league. And Mahomes had no turnovers last week, which I think he's overdue. He's have sub 20 points this week.
That's fair, but Minnesota's like the third best defense in the entire league.
It's Aaron Rodgers, dude.
Well, they might sack him and hurt his knee again.
It's Aaron Rodgers. It's Aaron Rodgers, Aaron.
I'm not saying that it's not Aaron Rodgers, my man. Jordan Howard versus a Seattle defense that is okay on a Monday Night Football versus Bilal Powell time split Miami. I'm gonna go ahead and take Howard there. Saquon Barkley over whoever is Detroit starting. Who cares? Josh Gordon, Demaryius Thomas. Josh Gordon has the edge for me. He's playing against the Swiss cheese of New Orleans defense, who let good old Fitzpatrick score 48 points on him. So, what do you think, Wiley? What do you think about that wide receiver matchup?
Well, to me, really, this comes down to how Mahomes is going to do and whether he lights up with Hill again. If they have another great week, man, even with the Olsen injury for Ben, this is going to be one of those seasons where he's going to do some damage. Even if everything else goes to shit, if that combo really pops off, he's going to be a threat.
Mm-hmm.
Saquon Barkley, I think he's going to have a great day versus Dallas.
Yep.
And as far as the receivers go, I expect Gordon to have about 9 points. I think Hill will have at least 13. Cooper Kupp, he's going to get a dozen. I sort of favor the fantasy genius here with the receivers.
I think Cameron wins, and it's not close.
Aaron?
I think he wins by 10 plus.
I think Cameron also wins, but I think it'll be really close. Actually, I hope I don't want Ben to lose another nail biter, but I think he will. Unfortunately.
Cameron's team is just like right now. I mean, it's better from top to bottom.
I would say they're pretty close. To be honest with you, the main differences, in my opinion, is the bottom.
Tight end, the best kicker, one of the best kickers in the league. I think the Packers defense
is not amazing, but they're okay. They'll get the job done.
The Jets might actually be better there, but like I just meant like when you look at the whole thing, like I literally favor all three of Cameron's top three, and then I like his receivers okay. I like Ben's a little more, but the tight end's a huge deal. Howard got 2 targets last week, and Jordan Reed I think got like a lot, and he's a really productive. I think he's like a proven guy who's his issue is he healthy, versus Howard is just like Howard could literally get 0 points this week.
Ben seems really good, but he really needs that. He really needs Bell to come back. That's like the big thing for him.
Yeah, and he doesn't really have a reason to report in until like week 11.
Why? Do y'all know why Ben's not starting Randall Cobb?
Because it's Minnesota. He's probably down on them.
He scored 20 points last week, so I'm asking.
I know he loves Cooper Kupp. He's not going to bench Hill because he's with his boy Mahomes, and he loves Josh Gordon too. That's why he's not starting him.
Fair enough. All right, cool.
What's interesting is look at the bench for Cameron. Just like on a side
lots of
note.
injured people and 2 extra quarterbacks.
Yep.
It just like doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, I'll have 2 quarterbacks, please.
Deshaun Jackson did score 26 points last week, so see what happens with that.
Yeah, why? I guess why doesn't he flex him?
Because he had a concussion.
I give Cam the edge here.
I think so too. I think it'll be a nail biter. Spencer said it won't be close.
Won't be close.
All right.
10 plus.
Final
Well,
matchup. Spencer, talk about Rampy's team.
Randy's team.
Oh,
Let's see. So right off the bat, he already had I forget him almost nothing, but at least it was positive, which is more than we which is more than we can say for the Ravens defense. I like. Ooh, it's kind of weird. On its surface, you think Rivers, but again, I think the script is they get up a lot and run it out, so that could hurt Rivers. I'm gonna. Ooh, I kind of want to favor Cousins there because I think the game script. Gordon again, game script. They're gonna give him a lot of looks before they bench him, so I think Cousins and Gordon. Kamara against Cleveland is probably favored to Ajayi, but Ajayi will do well. I kind of hate Garcon and Aguilar, so I'm just going to pick neither. Julio Jones is probably better than Deshaun Diggs.
Probably.
Cook was ridiculous. I kind of think there's no way he can get that many targets again. 12 targets, yeah, 180 yards. I think that's kind of unrealistic, but I do think he's going to be the favorite weapon for Oakland. So I think Denver actually is bad against tight ends too. If I'm not crazy, I think they're the worst against tight ends of any team in the league. Fun fact.
number 2 actually.
So I think he should easily outperform the 2.3 from Eifert. I'm really low on Williams.
Oh.
I wouldn't be starting him. Though he's getting a ton of volume. He got 15 carries last week. So maybe he does okay. I honestly feel like he could probably flex someone else. I don't know who. Maybe someone off the waiver wire. But against Minnesota, I think Drake is slightly favored. So I kind of just hate both situations. I hate the Dolphins running back situation, and I hate the Green Bay situation. But Drake's slightly favored there. Probably Hopkins against ND, and I think that the Steelers defense might actually lose. I'm just kidding. They're going to win easily.
What a great joke, Spencer. That comedic timing was really something else.
Spencer is really known for his jokes.
It was like a dangling parable there, like he was thinking about whether or not he should throw
stupid.
a penis joke in there and decided against it and just sort of that.
So I'm proud of you
was
for
it.
deciding against that, Spencer. First time he's ever opted out of it.
So for me,
Riley, what do you think, buddy?
Phil Rivers is coming up huge in this game. He's going to eviscerate Buffalo. Peterson's probably going to crack 10 again. Alvin Kamara is going to do really well. Aguilar is going to be dog shit. Garcon is even going to be better than him. Julio is going to be better than Diggs. Cook is going to be way better than Eifert. Drake is going to do better than Williams. Hopkins and Carlson, I'd say it's a wash. Oh, God, yeah, a wash. Maybe Carlson edge and Steeler edge for sure. Now, this is a bit weird, I guess. I think I'd have to give Aaron the edge, though.
I think No Fried wins, honestly.
Well, Spencer, you do hate me, and you do love penis. So.
No, I mean, I just think that, like, Kamara will do really well, and you'll probably get around 10 from Diggs. But, like, where else are you going to get points? Like, maybe 20 from Rivers? Like, I see you getting to around, like, 85 to 90, and I think he'll break 100. Or get closer to 100 than you will. I mean, like, Cook could literally get 20, and so could Julio Jones.
Yeah.
I just think I see easier path to him scoring higher than I see you.
I don't know. I think No Fried actually has the edge of me, to be honest with you guys. Melvin Gordon against Buffalo is probably going to score more than Phillip Rivers will. They'll just run the ball. I don't think they'll stop and put Eckler in for a while like Spencer does. The conspiracy theorist.
And I think it's going to be in the fourth quarter they're going to sit him. But yeah.
I don't know, guys. I don't think I really have like a strong week this week. I have a lot of bad matchups. Or actually, I'm sorry. No, I don't have a lot of bad matchups. Novrat has a lot of good matchups.
Yeah, both of y'all's matchups are pretty good. But I just think his team just is a little more upside.
Yeah, I think so too.
Alrighty, and with that, the week has been completed. So we will be doing these videos every single week, as usual.
Till Wiley loses.
We're going to have different guests on each time. Maybe multiple guests like this time, maybe just one. But guys, make sure you like the video, leave a comment, especially if you're still watching, and subscribe if you're not already.